We're here at 2023 Legends of the Autobahn. Behind me is the Turn 14 Akrapovic booth, an RM2 that we brought all the way out here, 2,400 miles to display the prototype exhaust on the M2. So we're really happy to be here. We actually walked around and I found a lot of my favorite cars. So I sent Dan like all day, he's been on his feet trying to find the coolest cars that are here at Legends, and we stick to BMWs as always. But I got some really cool vintage rides, some really cool recent stuff that we've shown. They actually have the 5 Series here, the brand new i5 BMW brought out. So let's get into all those highlights and we'll show you guys around the show. So it's really exciting again to be here at the Legend Show, which is one of my favorite BMW shows that is in the country, really. I've been coming to the show, this is my 7th year, I believe, that I've been here. Last year, we brought the G80 that we did, our project car, which is the Ruby Star Porsche color. This year, we brought the M2. So we're excited to be here with the Akrapovic guys, showing off the prototype Akrapovic exhaust for the M2 G87. This show represents the California BMW scene and the wide spectrum of cars. There was an E46 M3 wagon, really nice mods on it, some LMs, some really nice carbon parts. And then some E92 guys also showed up with typical E92 mods, some of the even cherry pieces, some of the BBS E88s that are popular on the E92 sort of setups. And then there was a lot more F chassis out there that I saw. A couple guys brought their CSs, a couple guys, I believe there was a GTS that also showed up. It's a good spectrum and a good representation of BMW in general and kind of the different cliques or different groups, if you will, that make up the scene. There's a couple NKs that I want to point out. The first one is the Derby Gray 1800. I believe it's a 65 from Steve Cupper, who actually runs 2002 FAC. He always brings his car out. He's from the San Jose area. It's like a perfect car. It's like a super nice driver that he drives and he tries to really have fun with the car. So it's a good car to see out here. It's mostly a stock look, but super classic. It has all the bumpers. It has all the pieces that it needs. It's period correct with everything. It's a neat car to see. It's cool. It's a guy that I've known for a while, and kind of knowing all of the guys with the NKs, there's a couple cars that we found too, a couple rat rod cars that were found in the condition similar to my 1800 Ti. A couple of the cars are in more of a patina state. There was also a couple E9s that were patina, and I believe there was a Bavaria as well. It's what people want to represent as them and want to represent for BMW, and it's just the sharing of the cars. So it's really an enthusiast type atmosphere. The other thing I had mentioned to my dad and to Dan was the color representation that was at the show. There was turquoise, there was taiga, there's some great yellows, but also some rare colors out there like that Derby 1800 and the Golf Yellow B2S. There was also a really cool Boston Green individual ordered brand new X5M. There's a lot of OEM plus cars. The car basically looks stock, but it has modified engine, it has an updated engine. A lot of the E9 guys like to put S38s in their cars, kind of like the E30s that we build, people put S52s in. It's nice to see bone stock cars. It's also nice to see heavily modified cars because it's a good example of just what people like for them to represent. BMW USA showed up as they always do, and they brought out some of the newer style cars. They had the CS there in Brooklyn Gray, the M3 CS, which is super cool with that interior. I love the center console and all of the pieces that make that special. They also brought out a hydrogen X5, which hydrogen BMW has actually been working on since I believe 03. They did it with the old 7 Series. Right next to the hydrogen car, BMW also brought the i5, which is the brand new 5 Series setup, all electric, which they're going to be offering. Really similar to the i7 they released. There's also a bone stock Zanzort Blue M2 here. To a lot of people, you'd be able to compare the M2, the bone stock one, with our car that we brought, which is pretty modified. I really want to talk about a car that is really special to me because it's a CSL, an original E9 CSL, but also because it's Golf Yellow, which is one of my favorite classic BMW colors. So on top of that, it's a B2S. So it's an in-period, I bought a CSL stock and immediately sent it to the guys at Alpena to modify even more. And there's only, I believe, 13 of them that were made, that were actually chronicled, that they have the histories of from Alpena that were done in period, and this yellow one is one of those. This was part of the Alpena display that they had out there, which had some amazing cars, E28s, E12s, E24s, E30s. There was a mixture of E36 Tourings, Alpenas, which were automatic transmission for Japan market only. and there was 3 of those here. It's really neat to see that people are bringing those cars from Japan, cars that the US never had the opportunity to buy, are now here and on display here for the show. So a lot of the CCA guys and a lot of the guys that do the concourse, they get together on this show and they park the cars in a way that is organized, but yet you can still see how there's similar or difference with all the different chassis. A lot of the 2002s were parked together, a lot of the E28s were parked together, E12s were parked together, but then they had a mixture of E39s, E36s, E30s kind of parked. People kind of parked some of the cars generationally to show all the different generations of M3. But there was also a good mix of older BMWs. They had the vintage class and a historical class where there's a 327, a 328. I believe there was also a 506. We never see those vintage cars at any of the shows normally, in Florida at least. There was a few at Amelia Island when we went. Of course, the Z8 was actually the V8 from Alpena, was also made as a special model here. It's a great show. I hope to see you guys there at some point, and we definitely will be back next year because we'll have more stuff. Hopefully my 1800 Ti will be done and I'll have it out at Legends so I can drive with all the other guys with the NKs. It's definitely a show I look forward to. Here's some more B-roll of some of the cars rolling in and out. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.